What's going on, YouTube? So this is my first video, and as you probably saw by the title, it's going to be about my freeform dreadlocks. So this is something with my hair that I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been growing it out for pretty much all year. I cut it pretty short back in December. And this isn't my first time doing locks. It is going to be my first time going the semi freeform route. And I think the main reason that I'm doing it is because I really want to avoid the ugly stage of dreadlocks. I feel like that is a hurdle that a lot of people have trouble getting over. A lot of people start their locks and then they get to that ugly stage and then they don't want to keep going just because, you know, it's not fun having your hair look terrible for a couple months. I know you gotta enjoy the process. I know, you know, locks are beautiful and all that, but you know, it does really come down to the fact that, you know, there is a stage where it looks a little bit awkward. So my idea is that I'm not going to lock my hair immediately and have to go through that stage, you know, where they look like little worms or where they're getting super frizzy and they're starting to come up. So my idea is, you know, I started growing my hair. I started to twist it with a sponge, and I've decided to stop picking it out, stop combing it out, and just starting to let it lock naturally. So I made the decision to go semi-freeform, I want to say about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. I've always used the sponge on my hair, but I usually just wash it afterwards. So what I'll do is I'll sponge my hair for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and it'll get, you know, similar to this. And then I'll wash it, I'll get a pick and I'll pick it out, stretch my curls back out, and then go back in. And I did that because I never wanted it to lock. I never wanted it to set. But now that I'm going to start growing locks, of course, I need my hair to lock. So throughout the course of this channel, throughout my videos, I'm going to be posting updates on my hair, different methods that I'm going to be doing. Now, I don't plan on doing a full freeform grow throughout the entire journey. My real plan is to go semi-freeform until my hair starts to drop, till it gets some good length on it, and then twist it down, let it lock some more, and then probably eventually interlock it and get them really set in there. So now this is, as I mentioned earlier, this isn't my first time doing a dreadlock. I'm growing out dreadlocks. I did it about 1.5 years ago, and I grew them only for about a year, so they didn't get too long. They got probably about this long, and I still have my stage, and I might reattach them one day, I might not. But yeah, the first time I did it, I had high top dreads, and which are dope. High top dreads are dope, but it takes a little bit longer for them to start looking good. And I really wanted to grow out the sides, so I cut them all off and started growing my hair out and decided I wanted to lock it again. So I'll be posting videos about my hair routine, what I do every morning, tips to get your hair to lock up, that kind of thing. I watch a lot of dreadlock videos. I watch a lot of Gunther the Great, watch Activeverse, stuff like that. And those videos have really inspired me to get my stuff started. So right now, as you can see where my hair's at right now, I don't really have much fully locked. I do got some locks forming in. And the reason I'm calling this a semi-freeform is because I'm not just letting it go on its own. I'm kind of taming it and I'm kind of guiding it into the direction that I want my hair to go. So what I've been doing is I get the sponge. Let me go grab the sponge real quick. Here's the sponge. So, and I'm sure this isn't your first dreadlock video. If you're like me, you've probably been up on YouTube scrolling through, watching a bunch of different dreadlock videos, trying to find that one that's gonna really inspire you to get going. So you're probably familiar with one of these things. I'm sure everybody got one of these things. If you don't, they're cheap. You can pick it up. I don't know, any hair supply store. I get them off Amazon. They're cheap, less than $10. Anyway, so of course, you know how you get started with the sponge rub method. You just do that. Do, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes a day. Do it for more if you want. You can never really do it too much. So I started doing that just to get my hair to section. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't pick it out anymore. I don't take out the locks that it forms, so that way that they can all fully lock. Now, one of the best tips advice that I got from Gunther the Great's videos. In order for your hair to lock and lock well, it needs to be dry and it needs to be clean. So I've been washing my hair frequently. Before, when I started to lock my hair, I used to not wash it at all. I thought that's what you needed to do. That's what everybody says you need to do, but that's not true. You need to wash your hair. It needs to stay clean. And when you get water in your hair, it dries it out, shrinks it up, and that's what allows it to lock. Because really what's going on is your hair is just shrinking, expanding, shrinking, expanding, shrinking, expanding. That hair is twisting and tangling and getting wrapped up in on itself, and that's what's causing it to lock. And of course, the sponge does the trick as well. Now I'm kind of cheating a little bit. As you can see, I also got some locks here on the front. And if you have any experience with starting out dreadlocks, you do know that the front hair does not lock up this fast. Your hair is typically going to be a lot thinner on the front of your head than it is when you get towards the back. For example, like I have one here almost fully locked. I've done nothing with this. This is just doing its thing. These here at the front, I get these little twists, and they're just little bundles of hair, and they unravel and come in and come out. And I know they'll lock up eventually, but I'm not the most patient. And I think it looks kind of awkward when you have locks starting to form on the sides and towards the back of your hair, and then at the front, it's just super frizzy and super thin. So what I've been doing is I'm using the sponge, I'm letting my hair lock up naturally, but I'm also slowly picking individual locks that are either really need help, that I can tell they're gonna be one of the last ones to actually lock, and I'm taking a crochet needle and I'm actually locking those ones myself. And I'll make a video about that later on how to use the crochet needle. It's very simple, but it's a way to get instant locks. So what I've been doing is I've been taking some of the ones at the front because they've been super thin, and I know they're gonna take a while to lock anyway. And I've been taking the crochet needle and I've been locking these ones just by themselves. And one thing to do to keep it looking natural, because one thing you don't want to do is lock it all the way down to the root, and then you have just like a hair hanging down, or it'll lock up, and then you'll see all the space around it because it's tight all the way at the base. What I do is I lock it down to probably about 3/4 of the way down, and then I leave it. And then that allows the bottom to stay full. Because that's one thing about that semi-freeform look and that dread afro look, is that you don't want the bottom to be super tight. You want the locks to mainly be at the tip. And they do lock from the top down anyway in their natural form. So you're really just getting them started ahead of time. That way they'll catch up with the back of your hair. But I am doing some around the back too. What I've been doing is every couple of weeks I'll go in with a crochet needle and I'll just find one that looks like it's mature back here, like I did this one the other day. And I will just lock it up. This is one of the first ones I did back here. This one's pretty mature now for the age that it is, at least. So that's kind of what I'm doing with my hair. And really the plan is that, probably in the next, call it 4, 5, 6 months, my hair's gonna grow quite a bit more. Once it gets to the point where it's hanging and it's dropping, in a couple months, a lot of these locks are gonna be formed a lot better. And when it starts to hang, it starts to drop. Then I'll really section everything out, twist it down, braid it out. The title of the channel is Lock Style TV, so I'll be doing different hairstyles with my locks, and I'll be talking about maintenance and things like that. So that's really what's going to be coming up here in the future. Biggest thing is it's a waiting game. It's a lot of patience. So for the next couple months, I'll be posting these dreadlock updates. Stay tuned for some videos about maintenance, about my hair routine, about hair care in general, the products that I use inside my hair. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you guys next time.